Hey guys, Matteo here. Welcome back to a new video. And today I want to talk about something that I think is pretty interesting because I think a lot of people that follow me are kind of the same shooting style. And of course, I'm talking about the one-man band. So today I want to do a little video about this shooting technique, why it's called one-man band, of course, everybody knows. But I want to talk more in specific about the pros and the cons. So one-man band is that kind of shoot where you're basically by yourself. You don't have a first AC, you don't have a gaffer, you don't have an assistant. It's just you, your camera, a lens. Of course, you might have lights, you might have tripod, you might have an easy rig. Of course, your gear, they're always with you. And most of the time, these shoots are also very quick, at least in my case. They're very rushed, maybe there's not a lot of time. So these are the kind of shoots that sometimes I happen to find myself in. But if I do this, there's usually a reason why, and I actually enjoy them quite a lot. So let's start with the cons of shooting one-man band and why it can be a problem. So sometimes maybe you're dealing with a client that doesn't really know what it takes to shoot a video, and maybe they hire you by yourself, and maybe they even pay you pretty good money, and you're like, oh sure, I'll do it. And then you find yourself on set and with too much stuff to do, but you have a very limited time, so this could be a problem. So this is one of the negative aspects of shooting one-man band. You're basically by yourself and you have to capture the best footage that you can with what you have, and that can be very challenging. It can be very stressful as well. Another negative part, this is the more obvious of course, is that you don't have any crew, so you're just by yourself. So if you need to set up a light for an interview, you have to do it yourself. You need to go back to the camera on the tripod, check the frame, go adjusting the light and all this kind of stuff. This can be time consuming. I found myself in some situation where I was like, I wish I had a gaffer, or I found myself also in a situation where I had to pull my own focus with a crazy big cinema lens with a super long focus thread, and I absolutely had no clue how I was doing it, but I managed to do it. But again, thinking about it later, I would have loved to have a first AC. Now, of course, one of the problems of doing some stuff in a rush or not having a crew is what are you capturing? Because there can be situation where you're doing something that it wasn't supposed to be one-man band, but you were forced to do it. And the problem is that maybe sometimes we're not totally happy with the footage, especially if we don't have the chance to shoot at sunset or sunrise or in a very cool location. If we're in an office or this kind of stuff, this could be challenging. It happened to me a couple of times, but I always managed to get a very nice shot. In this case, maybe, you know, I try to not shoot wide angle, I try to stay close, I try to blur the background if the location is not that nice, but this is pretty much another problem. But now let's talk about what's good about being one-man band and why I really love this style of shooting. You know, I grew up in Italy and I started working by myself. I bought my mirrorless camera and I was going to clients and shoot everything, edit, color grading and delivering. So that was kind of my nature, how I grew up. One of the beautiful thing though, and one of the pro about being a one-man band, being able to shoot one-man band, because you can do one-man band kind of shoot and not be able to capture the right footage. So the good thing for me to be able to shoot everything by myself, to edit by myself, to color grading and delivery, so I can do everything from the very beginning to the very end. It is very satisfying in my opinion, not having to depend on anyone else. I know my limits, I know my limitation, I know what I can do, I know what I can't do. That I think it's honestly one of the best parts for me. It's very rewarding to check the footage at the end of the day and know that you captured that without the help of anyone. Now, another positive aspect of being one-man band and do this kind of shoot is the money. If you are good at filming on the go, editing and grading, you can make pretty good money because basically you don't have to pay anyone. So there was a bunch of occasions where I was able basically to get the budget for an entire production and do that exclusively by myself. You can go back home and edit the project and just take 100% of the budget for yourself. So that could be a very good way to make some money. And then another positive thing about this kind of shoot is the artistic choice. So when you don't have a producer that tell you what to do, you can do things your way. And I found myself that every time I do things my way, they most of the time look much better than when I have a bunch of people tell me what to do. It's very rewarding to be able to do whatever you want. Of course, you have the client with some requests, but you have to be very careful when you do something for a client by yourself and you capture something really amazing, because this can happen. I just want to give you an example. The perfume spec had, that was not a client thing, but it was literally me and my Pocket 6K and my Leica R90mm and 2 actors. And that's still today one of the best things I capture. I put my own focus, I didn't have any lights, I didn't have any reflector. There was one-man band shoot in its purity. But what I wanted to tell you is that you have to be a little bit careful when you work for a client, that you go there and you capture something amazing. They also might be blown away because they might have spent money with the crew and now they hire you and you deliver something equally good. So at that point, they're gonna probably start taking advantage of this thing and gonna maybe try to overload you with work. So you don't have to really go down to compromise when it comes to price, especially because you have to tell the client that it's a lot of work. It's not that it's a joke. There's way more pressure because you can't tell anyone it's their responsibility because it's just you. You have to edit, you have to grade, you have to deliver, and everything needs to be perfect. So you have to be very careful in pricing this one-man band shoot in the right way. One thing that I noticed though, guys, is that it's definitely much easier to do one-man band shoot when you are in a beautiful winery, popping some bottles and pouring some wine with a beautiful location, a beautiful table with people around. So what I want to say to wrap it up is be picky about this kind of project. For example, a fashion ad on the beach at sunset, take it. Corporate video in a very depressing office, don't take it, because it's gonna be very, very hard to get nice footage in those situations. So be careful of what are you gonna shoot, for who, and charge the right amount of money. It could be a very, very rewarding experience, a very satisfying thing, and also it's gonna train you a lot and it's gonna make you a much better filmmaker. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Keep in mind, I talk about all this kind of stuff in my online course, butteracademy.com. 10 hours about filmmaking, business, breakdown, cinematography, color grading. You're gonna find the link in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you're a one-man band as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.